about some things happening in the NBA. Obviously, Celtics have been releasing some players, trading them. Big ones, Kristaps Porzingis to the Hawks, which I'll grade that and kind of go through that with both teams, and Drew Holiday to the Blazers. Obviously it's a big trade. Acquired Anthony Simons from that, who's a promising young player, and also go through the Kevin Durant trade. Might skim on the Desmond Bain one as well. So the first one is obviously Kristaps Porzingis to the Atlanta Hawks. It's really good for the Atlanta Hawks in my opinion, because they gain this guy 7'2", really good on the pick and rolls. He's also a pretty good shooter, really good actually, and he shows signs of a lot of talent for them. Now on Celtics end, it's really just freeing up a player that didn't perform great for them and is kind of unwanted now that they're not contenders. They're not contenders anymore. They're not looking to win. They need money to, bring in some younger players to develop before when Jason Tatum gets back. So I think that's the point of the Kristaps Porzingis trade for them. But then we have the Drew Holiday trade to the Blazers, which is, I think, they don't really get too much cap space from it. I think it's more, Anthony Simons is a new young player. He's good. He shows a lot of signs. Obviously really explosive. Probably keep fans entertained while waiting for Jason Tatum to come back from the ruptured Achilles. I think it was a good trade for the Celtics. For Blazers, looking for a veteran to make some of the younger guys just get a bit more developed. But I still see that as a win for the Celtics. Porzingis one was a win for Atlanta, in my opinion, though. Kevin Durant trade, Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks to Suns. I don't really know what that was for. Obviously Kevin Durant, but Rockets lose that trade, in my opinion. Just because give up Jalen Green. Maybe you get 1 or 2 more years, you get 3 more years of Kevin Durant, but you miss out on, potentially 10 more years of Jalen Green, and, that team was doing real good. Obviously second in the West, which is not easy. The young cores are really good for the league, and it's just sad to see them trade that for hopes of winning when you lose to a older Warriors team. Incomplete, really. Warriors team was pretty incomplete. There's just a lot of flaws in some of those players, a lot of inconsistencies in young Warriors team. Obviously, I'm a Warriors fan, as you can see, but we're just a bit inconsistent, and not being able to get past them. I don't think that's I'm trying to win right now. I think that's we improve the players we have and develop them more, give them more skills rather than go trade for a big piece like Kevin Durant. The next trade we have is Desmond Bain from Memphis to Orlando. I'm not really sure about that. It was Cole Anthony, KCP, some picks. straight up for Desmond Bain. Obviously, the Orlando, I can't really tell who wins that. Honestly, a lot of people, they're saying Orlando won or Memphis won, but I'd say that Orlando wins because it opens up the floor. As a shooter, Desmond Bain, he's really good. Just adds what the team was lacking. Orlando was one of the worst shooting teams last season, even despite making a run into the playoffs. Obviously, their defense was the standout there. So that was quite an interesting trade, in my opinion. And then we're going to come on to the last thing here, which is I'm going to rank some of the picks from the draft. I'm just going to see how I'm going to rate them. There's kind of little analysis for some of the higher ones. Talk about what I think is going to happen with them. Obviously, first of all, Cooper Flag. As much as I want to hate, he's a A+, right? Best player. Just lost your best player in Luka Doncic, and you get Cooper Flag, and that's obviously promising. Good that Nico Harrison selected Cooper. And then we have Dylan Harper, which I think was interesting. He's a really good player. I don't think he should have gone to the Spurs. Obviously, last season the Spurs went out and acquired De'Aaron Fox from the Kings, which just really makes no sense if you've got the Rookie of the Year guard, a defensive kind of slasher guy, not a big shooter, and you get a shooter, playmaker type of guard in, also finishing, but has a lot of playmaking there in De'Aaron Fox, and I don't see why you need to go out and get a pure shooter in Dylan Harper. So I'll rate it a B-. He's obviously a good player. VJ Edgecombe. I don't know a whole lot about him, but from what I've seen, he's a really good wing. And I think this might have been the most fitting selection of the draft, seeing as you have a young guy who should have been Rookie of the Year, apart from injuries, Jared McCain. He was great, obviously. And VJ just kind of is the spot they're missing there, right? They got Joel Embiid. Hopefully he's full healthy. You got Joel Embiid in there. Paul George is not there anymore, though. I don't think he will be there. I'm not sure if that trade was true, but I believe he's going to Utah. But he wasn't really. He's kind of didn't really need him. He was playing awful, honestly. And VJ Edgecombe is a new young guy. He's a lot more explosive. He brings kind of a bit more drive than Paul George does. So Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Joel Embiid, and VJ Edgecombe. That is one of the teams to keep your eye out on next season. Honestly. Then the Hornets drafting Con Canupo. I don't really know how to say his name. I don't really know what to say. By the way, VJ Edgecombe one was, I reckon it's an A or an A+. It's an A++. But back to the Hornets pick, Con Canupo, whatever, from Duke. I don't know anything about him. I'm not going to grade this one. I'll say it's a C, just because they passed up on Ace Bailey. Jazz drafting Ace Bailey. I'll be honest, if you weren't regarding the players once, that would be probably like a B plus type of pick. But knowing that Ace Bailey specifically doesn't want to go to the Jazz and will probably request out sooner rather than later, I see that as the first kind of D pick of the draft. Not because of the player, but the position that it puts the team in for doing the pick. And then the Wizards drafting Trey Johnson. Yeah, honestly, he just lost Jordan Poole. Trey Johnson is a really good pickup. Oh, that's a solid B, I reckon. Could have been some other players you could have looked at first, but no, I think that helps them. Pelicans drafting Jeremiah Fears. Jeremiah Fears is just one of those wings. Wait, I think he can play guard as well. I'm not really sure of his size, but replacing CJ a little bit. Then we go into the Nets drafting Igor Demon. Sounds he's like a guard. He's promising from what I've seen. I don't know much about him though, so I'm just gonna say B. Then we have the Raptors drafting Colin Murray Boyles. I'm not sure about that. He is a good player. I think he should have fallen to the Rockets. I'll explain why in the next pick, but great wing, not the best shooter, which I think the Raptors could kind of get. They're not the best shooting team, so I think it would have been good if we selected. I'll go to the next pick now. So I'll say the Raptors is it's a B minus. At 10th, the Rockets draft Kaman Malak. I don't know how to say his name. I'm sorry if I made that wrong. It's a big guy. Center. I think he's 7'1", they said. I really thought he should have gone to the Raptors because Raptors are missing that big that they need, that key big. But obviously the Rockets traded him to the Suns as a part of the Kevin Durant trade. I think he'll be a good fit in the Suns pick and roll around Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, I guess. I'd rate it an A, honestly. Then the Trailblazers get Cedric Coward, who actually got traded to Memphis. Yeah, another wing, kind of guard wing again. Not quite the Desmond Bain replacement, but by the looks of it, he's got a lot of spirit. He looks like a real good team player. I think he's going to bring, a bit more of the drive to the Grizzlies. But I'm not too sure about him yet. And then at 12, we have Noah Esungay, French guy, to the Bulls. Yeah, another wing. I think it's a great pick, honestly. I think he's going to do well alongside Kobe White. I really don't have too much more to say about him because I've never watched him. But just looking at some of his highlights, I'm going to rate this a B+. And then the Hawks drafting Derek Queen, who got traded to the Pelicans. Center. I think that's what the Pelicans needed, Obviously, Pelicans bring in Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, a wing, kind of a versatile, more guard wing, and Derek Queen. I can see some pick and rolls, some kickouts going there. Run Trey Murphy on the handle, and then have Derek Queen set the screen, go around, kick it out to someone like Um, Jeremiah Fears, who can just kind of slash in. I think it's a good pick. And then the last one I'm going to do is Carter Bryant to the Spurs. Yeah, another kind of wing guy. He's a pretty good shooter. Um, he's a shooter. He's got some finishing. His playmaking's alright. Could work on just a bit more efficient from three. But from what I've seen, I think he's a good pickup for the Spurs. I'm not sure if the Spurs will, in fact, keep all of these guys. We shall see, though. Also, just a couple more just honorable mentions is the Grizzlies, who got drafted to the Blazers, Young Hansen, from actually a Chinese player. I think that's really cool. He looks really good. I think he's going to be a really good player for the Trailblazers, kind of a sleeper pick. Also, at 18, traded to the Jazz, a Walter Clayton Jr. from Florida. Obviously, Florida won the March Madness. He looks like a really solid piece for them. You can't really go wrong with him, honestly. I think he was a bit of a sleeper pick as well. And then going all the way down to number 28, Hugo Gonzalez from Real Madrid. I think it's a good pickup for the Celtics. Honestly, especially with the trading of Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, I think he's a young guy. He's going to come in. He's played overseas. He's played in some pretty tough competition. I think he's going to be a sleeper kind of pick. I think he's going to be a lot better than everyone thinks. And yeah, that's it for today.